There's something that is seriously wrong with the world right now. Do you remember the footballer, the Hakimi guy, right? Yes, the international footballer who his wife tried to divorce so she can get a hefty payout. It's kind of like the usual story with rich people, right? But this is a plot twist. His wife found out that he actually owned nothing to his name and that all of his wealth was stashed in his mother's name. So our grand plan of having this massive divorce settlement just completely backfired. Not only did she not get a penny, but she also have to pay him for the privilege of divorce. It's a wild case, right? It's a wild case that shined the light on a troubling trend of practical divorces. It's a trend where some women are more interested in financial gains than the well-being of their families. It's just a sad state of affair. But a state of affair that is becoming all too common. There are women out there who are willing to be single mothers, who are willing to be divorced because of nothing more than the financial benefits, with little or no regard for the damage that is doing to their children or the society at large. Let's flip the coin for a second, right? What about the men? What are men doing? Take Elon Musk, for example, right? He is one of the most influential figures on a world stage and is constantly being hailed as heroes, right? For his pro-humanity, pro-natalist views, in his attempts to boost the world population, right? But here is the thing. Musk's approach to fatherhood seemed to be a different side of a growing problem. Musk has fathered 14 children with multiple women, right? While he's seen as a visionary, there's a question that needs to be asking. When does a man of his influence and stature actually find the time to be a present and committed father to 14 children with multiple women, right? Sure, it's changing the world and all of that, right? But what about his own kids? You see, it's not just about single motherhood here. It's also about a complete breakdown of the family unit in itself, right? The absence of fathers in the home is one of the biggest issues that we face today, right? And men like Musk who think they are contributing to society, but what they're actually doing is creating a fractured family structure that simply cannot, provide the stability that a kid needs in order to thrive. So while some might see him as heroes, I don't know, right? The reality is that, having 13, 14 children is much more complex than what the headlines would tell us, right? Now, I'm aware it's looking like I've got some bit of bone to pick with Elon Musk, but who am I, right? But we should also know that, it's honestly not the case. I don't have anything to pick with Elon Musk. I'm just trying to notice a bit of paradox in the way the world works, right? I look at the conservative Christians, people who I see that are appreciative of Elon Musk for fathering his 14th child, but I look at them and at the same time, I'm seeing them sharpening their pitchforks against the likes of people like Nick Cannon, who, has just a mere 12 children. And it's like we're starting to begin to spot a trend of pattern here, right? Because at the end of the day, it's the children who bear the brunt. It's the children who bear the casualties that has to come with broken family system. Because studies have consistently shown that children or kids who are growing outside of the traditional family setup tend to have a rougher time. They are more likely to struggle with mental health issues, with anxiety, with depression, and the usual suspects, which also includes the physical health problems. It shows that children who grow up out of the traditional family system tend to be more aggressive and have this knack of breaking the rules. And don't just get me started on they're likely to end up in prison or just face academic struggles and all of that, right? So yes, it seems like the children aren't really benefiting from, who's doing what kind of debate that we're going to be having, right? But aside that, right, there is a much more deeper problem. There is a much more deeper trend that I'm seeing, right? There is a pattern here where people are trying to adopt Christian values, but without having Christ first, right? It's like we're trying to be pro-life, the commandments where it's bear fruit and multiply. We're trying to be pro-life, but without the whole marriage sort of thing. It's like trying to make a sandwich without having bread. It's like, what are you trying to eat? You know, because I was reading about one of Elon's tweets the other day, and it dawned on me that he genuinely believes that he's helping the world population. He genuinely believes that he's contributing to, the betterment of the world. But in reality, what he's doing is contributing to this fractured family dynamics that can't give kids what they need the most, right? So here is the point that we're trying to make, right? We cannot be cherry picking, right? We cannot be cherry picking on who does what when it comes in terms of sin. And also we cannot cherry pick the Christian values without Christ, without actual ways of Christ. It is the very contradiction that leads to problems that we are seeing now. And let's not kid ourselves, right? Elon Musk is not the only one on this table. There are plenty of these so-called moral leaders or leaders of integrity who want to tell us how much integrity they have, but they all seem to fall into some sort of scandal or the other. So the pattern is very clear. It is a matter of where, people are just trying to be, adopt the Christian values and have these Christian ideas, but not having Christ itself. The pattern is clear to see. It's just a matter of if you want to see it or not, right? And that just begs the question, what then is the solution? And the solution is a new heart through Christ, because it boils down to the very nature of our hearts. And that is exactly why the need of old prophecy needs to come to pass. The prophecy of, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. Because that is one of the main reasons that Jesus came. I would argue that the world hasn't really changed much when it comes to morality. We're just basically recycling the old with just, shiny, fancier tools, right? Because what really needs to change is that the world really needs to accept Jesus alongside the Christian values. Because we see all this brokenness, the fractured families, the fractured kids, without stable fathers, the moral chaos that is going on both ends of the spectrum, right? These are just symptoms of a deeper spiritual decay, right? Because Jesus didn't come to teach us how to be better people, but he didn't come to teach us how to, live, how to be people. The law already had that covered. He came to die in our place because the real problem is our sin. Then the solution isn't just a better behavior. The solution is grace. And let's face it, with a completely new heart. The only real solution is Jesus Christ. Now, if this video has got you thinking, please give it a like, share it, drop a comment. I'm curious to know though, do you think that morality has gotten better or worse? Like when we compare today to Romans, to Ephesians, to Sodom, to Gomorrah, do you reckon that it has changed? Let me know in the comment section below. That's all from me from now. I remain Omo echoing the faith, and until next time, make sure you stay echoing the faith. Bye.